Hello, Dodger fans. It was an exciting weekend for the Dodgers. A nice sweep of the Braves, and this is a Dodger 360 wrap. Let's talk all about it.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
From that star up in the sky, from that mountain peak up high, they made it. I'm the world's greatest. And I'm that little bit.
There is a little nod to the late, great Muhammad Ali. If you saw the Will Smith, Michael Mann Ali movie, that song is from the soundtrack. And we got Mike Conley coming in here soon off of Skype, and we need to talk about this nice sweep of the Braves, something the Dodgers should have done. They handled their business at home. Hopefully they handle it again against the Rockies before we head into San Francisco this weekend. Big series up there. Could really swing the division. Mike, can you hear me?
Sure can. You got me, Joshua?
I got you.
Nice, dude. Coming to you live from Canton, Massachusetts here. We've been celebrating all day. My niece's graduation, Erin Marie Martin. We've been having fun here. And, I'm going to say, I'm, maybe not operating at full capacity, but, I think I could probably play one in left field now that we're down a couple with Kyle Crawford and Alex Guerrero getting their walking papers.
Yeah, I think that to me is the big news, even bigger than sweeping the Braves, is Alex Guerrero and Carl Crawford both designated for assignment.
Hey, man, I love it. We've been talking about it all year, how there's no at-bats in left field for Kyle Crawford, and I'm glad they realized that, despite how much he's owed on the books,
Yeah, he's still owed $35 million, so if they could work out a trade, which I doubt, they'd have to pay him out, and Guerrero's still owed, I believe, about $20 million, right? Somewhere in there, 15 to 20, somewhere in that range.
You know better than I do.
So
the Crawford $35 million is over the next 2 years. Is that what it is?
Yes, it is. It is over the next 2 years.
Who on earth dumped that contract on the Dodgers?
Hey, you know what, though? We gave up nothing in return and got Gonzo at least in that trade, so it's not too bad.
Gonzo, and you got a no-hitter out of Josh Beckett.
That's true. Actually, Beckett didn't pitch bad for the Dodgers when he came over. And Crawford had that nice little run in, 2014? The end of the season into the playoffs, he had a nice little run there. I think that was his best run on the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Where I remember in the game where Uribe hit the home run to send the Dodgers into the next round of the playoffs, he had 2 home runs in that game prior to Uribe's home run. So
I can't think a lot of Dodger fans, Joshua, are going to be able to recall such fond memories of Kyle Crawford as quickly as you can. You must be doing your research. I love it.
Well, yeah.
You got to love the Braves coming to town. It's kind of like the Reds last week. It's just what the doctor ordered,
It really was. I mean, that was sweet relief because you got tough matchups. You got the Rockies who can hit and actually have some decent pitching this year. And then we head into San Francisco this weekend. Big series up there because with the Giants losing today, I mean that could swing the West a little bit. You take 2 out of 3 up there, all of a sudden you're only down, I think 2.5 games.
Yeah.
So this is a big stretch right here. NL West teams, I think we got Arizona following San Francisco, so this is a big stretch for the Dodgers.
It's true. And, before we look ahead, Joshua, we got to look back. And, this past week, a big measuring stick series for the Dodgers so far this season, going into Wrigley to face the Cubs. And, you got to think if they would take 1 out of 3, it certainly wasn't going to be the Kazmir-Arrieta matchup.
No, you didn't think so, but Kazmir pitched beautifully in that game. Just amazing. Today, he struggled in the first inning. After the first inning, he was fine today. But he did leave the game early with some tightness, I believe, in his hip. Not expected to miss a start, but, a little worrisome. But against Arrieta, he pitched amazing. Although Arrieta pitched great, too. But the Dodgers finally got to the bullpen there of the Cubs. First loss Arrieta's had in the regular season in 24 starts that the team has had in 24 starts.
Wow.
He had 23 straight wins. They had 23 straight wins as a team.
That guy's on a run.
Just think that's unbelievable. That just the luck, the scoring. If Kershaw could get some scoring, he'd have runs like that. But they can't score runs for him.
Right. Well, he just keeps shutting them out like yesterday, right?
Yeah. Although yesterday, only 6 innings.
Yeah.
Shortest outing since 2014 for him.
You think they're trying to take care of him a little bit?
I got to watch a little bit of that game, and I watched the 6th inning when he struggled. I think he threw 27 pitches in that inning. His fastball was not working in that inning, or in that game in general. That's why he wasn't getting some of the strikeouts. Fastball really wasn't working. I did feel he didn't get some calls. He had some nice pitches that should have been strikes in that game that they just were not. The ump was just not given to him. I mean, that happens to every pitcher. So, but that 6th inning, he was laboring. He did labor in that inning, and they figured 96 pitches. It was only 1-0, but the pen held it. The pen actually looked good in that game. And
that's great. And then, in 96 pitches, he's getting there. You got to take care of him if you say he's not looking good.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in May, he had 3 complete games. So you're looking at, you got to preserve his arm a little bit.
It's true. And, we've been talking all week, all season till we're blue in the face, pun intended, about, the bullpen and, who's going to show up on a given week. But, Dave Roberts, even though he's a rookie manager, he knows as well as anybody, bullpens go up and down in a 162-game season, And the only way to get those guys that are going bad going good is to really still throw them some bones here in some high-leverage situations to really give that confidence a boost. So I really think Dodgers fans should take solace in the fact that it doesn't look like the Dodgers have been played their best baseball at all yet this season. And there's still 4 games above 500 in the hunt, and winners of 3 in a row.
Yeah, and what I liked yesterday was Liberatore came in and he only gave up that in that Kershaw game last week. It's the only time he's given up a run, which I still objected to that and thought Jansen should have brought into that game. But at this point, what does it matter? But Liberatore looked good. Actually, who's been looking good is Casey. What is it? Fiend? How do you say his name?
Right. That's why you pick up. I think it's Fiend. We're going.
He's looked good so far. I have to admit, knock on wood, the guy has looked good. Joe Blanton still looking good. We got like you said, it's going to be hot and cold. Again, Hatcher came in today, gave up I think 2 or 3 runs today. I don't know what to do about Hatcher anymore. I don't know about that, but there are some positives out of the bullpen right now, and Jansen is still Jansen. So
exactly, and that's big.
Yeah, and
you have the luxury to really kind of figure things out a little bit with the rest of your bullpen when you have that, big stopper at the end.
Yeah, exactly. And with Kazmir, I think coming around, Maeda looked good this against the Braves. It's we'll see. I think they have the 3rd best ERA in baseball. However, that is skewed. Because if you take Kershaw out of the mix, I believe their ERA does shoot up to 4.
Wow.
Whereas right now it's 3-something, but Kershaw brings that down to 3-something.
Right.
So if you take him out, it doesn't look quite as good.
I love that stat,
If you take him out of there, I believe their ERA goes from about 3.14 to 4.14. Somewhere like that.
Wow.
So
full run.
Yeah, it is a little skewed to say that they have the 3rd best ERA, and then it's true, but it's just you have to look at all the variables that go into it.
Yeah, no question. I guess we have been playing kind of not the best competition at home lately, but I am excited, about how well the Dodgers are starting to play at home, where they got off to such a bad start at the Ravine, starting off the season. So I am excited about that. I'm excited about my boy Trace Thompson. With you losing Guerrero and Crawford, they're 2 guys, battling him for at-bats in that left field spot. And it really kind of opens the door for him to really maybe, have a few bad games and still not get at-bats taken away from him. We know we're going to see him in there against lefties, but now it looks like he's going to be in there full-time more often. And, I love the kid. Oh, yeah. And, I think he's a good talent. He's hitting 345. At home this year.
And with Puig on the DL, he's only going to get more at-bats. So,
right.
And now, it's going to open the door for Kike in left field. Howie Kendrick, I think you're going to see a lot of Howie Kendrick in left field.
Yeah.
I think that's where this is going up until Puig comes back. And then I think we'll see more, a little bit platooning maybe with Trace out there. But
yeah, Trace got to have the lockdown on the right field position as long as Puig's out.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. And I mean, the way Puig was hitting, I'm not terribly upset that he's out right now. I actually predicted that watch them score more runs now with him out of the lineup. I predicted that when they put him on the DL.
Yeah.
So far I've been proven right.
What's his ailment, Joshua? Forgive me.
Hamstring again. Same issue he's been having. So I mean,
you don't want to play with hamstrings.
No, like they're who is it on the Giants? Hunter Pence just went down with a torn hamstring. He's going to be out at least 2 months.
Oh boy.
So hamstrings are so tricky.
They are.
And same issue he's had. Maybe with Trace playing so well, it will give him time to heal, and maybe give him some rehab at bats down in the minors. Try to get his swing back into form, because he only can hit when his hands are extended. So of course everyone pitches him inside.
Right.
And I don't know what it is. He just does not see the ball well. I don't know what that's about. He swings at a lot of bad pitches, and he's not Vlad Guerrero. He's not hitting them.
Right.
So they need to either tell him, you know what, forget everything we taught you, just go back to who you are. Because that's the only thing that we've seen work, was him just being the raw talent. It seems that, to me, they got into his head too much, and I think that's why he's struggling so much.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is going to be definitely the best thing for him, and, maybe a real silver lining for this whole situation. I think he could definitely deal with some seasoning in the minors, no doubt about that, as I think a lot of the Cuban players, especially the ones that make money, will make an instant splash when they come on the scene like Puig did, and maybe kind of rushed into doing it, especially when you're in a market like L.A. and they want a Latin player to really, sell shirts about. It's like maybe he's forced into it, and maybe he was asked to do too much too soon. It's like, hey, what's he, 25? Yeah. I was an absolute knucklehead when I was 25. Some will argue still am. You may be one of them, Joshua. But it's like, give this kid a chance, because he is an incredible talent. And you would hate. I've seen him in trade rumors, and it's like, wow. That's the one that could really blow up some egg in your face. But I really like setting them down, especially with something like a hamstring, which, like, you can slip that by, like, oh, he's got a hamstring. We got to take care of hamstrings. And then he goes down, and there's no egg on his face like it's a demotion, because he's a very proud kid. He's very media savvy. Yeah. But he goes down to AAA. He, irons out the kinks, and hopefully comes back a real productive player that can help us in a stretch run,
Yeah, I agree with that. That's why I would like him to take at least a few rehab starts in the minors. Just to try to get back to, I think when he came on the scene, he was so good so fast that he set kind of an unfair ceiling. I don't really think his ceiling is that high. But, I mean, there's no reason he shouldn't be like a 285 to 300 hitter with 20 to 30 home runs. I think he can pull that off. He just needs to,
He's a pretty good player.
Yeah,
especially when he's like, top 3 in outfield assists, and he's hosing dudes and on SportsCenter every night,
Yeah, I mean, he still makes the occasional boneheaded play like he did against the Cubs, where he allowed Zorbers to go first to third, But I think you'll live with those if he's still gunning people out. I think you can live with it.
Yeah, I mean, he's like somebody that's on the field that could do something that night that you have never seen before.
Exactly.
And guys like that you really want to see, and people come and pay good money for tickets to do so,
Yeah, I completely agree. And actually, I meant to say this earlier with Crawford being designated. Good news for you. You love you some Austin Barnes. So Austin Barnes is back on the big league roster.
Love me some Austin Barnes. Love that versatility of having a third catcher in the NL, I love having that guy, and he showed a little something in the spring, and I'd like to see a little bit more from him, because he could be something, and maybe if he shows a little something, maybe that frees up somebody to maybe be a trade chip at the deadline. And speaking maybe of Grandal, if he can start to hit with any consistency.
I agree, because I know he homered today, but he's only hitting 190. I mean, I don't even think he's hitting. I might be wrong. He might be hitting like 180 something.
Yeah. And so he's got to turn it around if we're gonna be able to get anything for him.
Yeah. And he let Ross, a catcher, 36-year-old catcher on the Cubs, steal a base on him. That's just inexcusable. I mean, how do you not throw this guy out? I mean, Ellis can throw him out. Ellis should be able to throw that guy out from his knees, and probably would. But
I love me some David Ross, 2013 world champion, baby.
So I feel like Grandal is the weak link on that catcher as far as almost all around play right now. I think Ellis calls a good game. Ellis takes a lot of pitches. His bat's slow. That's why he can't get hits.
Yeah.
But
if Grandal is not hitting, it's like, come on.
Yeah,
both the guys are better receivers.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I wouldn't mind seeing Austin Barnes back there on occasion. See what he's got. He's 25, I think. Is he around 25, I believe?
Yeah. And like also show what he can do. And if he does something, maybe he's the chip.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because he's young and controllable. So right now he's worth more than Grandal, I would say.
Yeah, I think so. And speaking of young guys, Urias will make his third start on Tuesday. I know he gave up.
What do you think about him so far? It's been a little bit of rocky road.
It has been a little bit rocky, but I thought against the Mets, I thought he didn't pitch too bad. I thought the strike zone got really small for him, which I didn't like. When you watch that, if you go back and watch it, because I actually did, the strike zone was different for him than it was for the Mets. His was a lot smaller. When they show the stat cast with where the ball is placed, you can see that he had a lot of balls that should have been called strikes. But I actually thought he looked pretty good against the Cubs. I know he gave up some home runs, but this was trial by fire. He went up against the Mets and the Cubs, two of the best teams in the National League. This was no joke.
That's by design.
Yeah, this was no joke. And the Rockies have a strong lineup. He's going up against them Tuesday. But I think he's improving. I know he gave up 5 runs, but I actually think he's improving. I think we're going to see a pretty good outing from him on Tuesday.
I think you might be right. You know how I've been hopping all season about I want him to be a bullpen piece going forward, and I still think that could be the case just because he's going to get to an innings limit issue.
Yeah.
But I love what they did with the baptism by fire about really throwing him in there versus the cream of the crop of the league to see where this kid stands. It really, even though he pitched, not incredible, it wasn't horrific, and that's still going to be a boost to his confidence. His arrow's still going up confidence-wise.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree. And I think in September you're going to see either Cotton or De Leon come up, I think, for the bullpen. Or the kid just came back that they also got in the trade from the White Sox with Thompson. What's his name? Montez, I believe, is also coming back. He's pitching.
Frankie Montas?
Yeah, he's pitching in AAA right now. So I think you'll get one, if not two of those guys that come up in the September call-ups for the bullpen.
Oh, yeah. And what about De Leon? What you feeling on him? He could help maybe in the rotation?
He can. The trouble is, do you really want to? I didn't mind Stripling being up. I don't know if I might rather have Stripling up in the rotation than De Leon.
I like Stripling.
I feel like De Leon might be a bullpen guy at first, and then a rotation guy. Cool. I know McCarthy's still set to come back in July, but you don't know what you're going to get out of McCarthy. He just
That's
had,
true.
So we'll see what happens. Ryu, who knows if he's going to pitch this year? Who knows? Every time he always sees take a step forward, then 3 back every time. So who knows what will happen there? That's why I think we might wind up seeing Urias up and down. I think we're going to see him up and down. He's going to kind of fluctuate.
Yeah, what do you think about this Cuban pitcher that the Dodgers took a look at? You know anything about him? Is it Martinez?
Yeah, there was a few teams that took a look at him. I didn't know much about him. So his session was closed, right? I don't believe they filmed his session. So it's
Gutierrez.
Gutierrez,
believe his name is. Yeah. Thanks, Ken. I'm getting produced on this end, Joshua, tonight by my nephew.
Oh, that's good. Big baseball fan?
Oh yeah. Well, he's a big Red Sox fan, but so where he's helped me out though. He told me about the Gutierrez kid, so you got to give him props for that.
Well, yeah, I believe the Red Sox took a look at him. I think he was. They were one of the teams.
That makes sense. So was this an open tryout that a bunch of teams went to?
Yeah, I believe so.
Not an open tryout, but like a closed one that some teams went to?
Yeah, I believe that's what it was. Same thing that happened with what's his face? The guy you guys signed, the second baseman. Didn't the same thing happen?
Yohan Moncada?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you are correct. But, I mean, it'd be nice to be a fly on that wall or that ball cap of the scout.
Yeah. To see, to see what he's got. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see. You know what we have to talk about? We have to talk about Corey Seager, who has just been crushing the ball. 2 more home runs today. Three the other day. I mean, was it 3 on Friday? I mean, he's the high average on the team. He passed Agon. So he's got the highest average, the most home runs. I mean, he's just killing the ball right now. I believe he is number 1 in WAR for shortstops in the National League. So, I mean, aside from Manny Machado and, Carlos Correa looks like he took a little step back this year. So aside from Manny Machado on the Orioles, I mean, you're looking at one of the best shortstops right now.
Obviously throw Xander Bogaerts in the mix, the American League. He looks like he should be the all-star over there. But Seager, we've talked all season to this point about how we are amazed, Joshua, at the poise this kid has showed at such a young age, and that doesn't seem to be going away. I mean, 2 more bombs today, and the kid's bat looks, pretty quick. I don't know if I'm going to say Mookie Betts quick, but it's pretty damn quick.
No, it's looking, and you know what? It's looking faster. That little slump in what was it there in the beginning of May didn't seem to faze him. Just came right back. So, which is good. Short memory. It's what you need. So, I mean, he looks like the real deal. He really does.
No doubt. And you really just have to thank the front office brass of the Dodgers because he was the first name on every opponent's GM's lip at the deadline last year, between him and Urias. And we already see Seager, paying dividends by hanging on to him. And we could just hope the same happens with showing the same prudence and foresight with hanging on to Urias as well.
Yeah, I agree. And this is maybe the only time you'll ever hear me give Ned Colletti credit. But Colletti hung on to him through a lot. Colletti drafted him and actually held on to him before this ownership group took over. So I will give Ned Colletti credit for that. I don't like Colletti at all, but I will give him credit for that.
Hit him up on the Twitter. Give him some props. I'm sure he is. He does the postgame show on Time Warner.
Yes, he does. The time. But I would ask him about Jason Schmidt. That's still that one still stings. I believe he pitched 6 games total for the Dodgers in 3 years and made $45 million.
Wow.
And the Giants let him go because he was hurt. Like, they already knew what was up.
I think we should send you to interview him and wear a Jason Schmidt jersey. I was going to do this one time when I interviewed Lou Gorman, like back in the 90s. I was going to wear a Jeff Bagwell jersey, and then I chickened out at the last moment. But
God, that would have been hilarious, though.
It would have been. It was like, somebody was doing me a favor hooking it up, so I couldn't smack it in the face like that. But as a friend of my mother's, I would have never heard the end of it.
If I recall, didn't they get rid of Bagwell because they had Mo Vaughn already?
Yes, and Bagwell came up as a third baseman, so it was more the fact that we had a guy by the name of Scott Cooper who had 1 AL All-Star appearance, and he was kind of the reason we dealt Jeff Bagwell for Larry Anderson, and we could use a bullpen piece this year. I hope it doesn't make the same mistake as far as the Red Sox are concerned.
Hey, but the Red Sox got even when they got Derek Lowe and Jason Varitek for Heathcliff Slocum.
One of the best trades in Red Sox history, no doubt.
But pivoting back to the Dodgers, let's look at the upcoming week. Like I said, we got the Rockies in town. Urias going Tuesday. I believe Bolsinger going tomorrow.
Okay.
If I can remember correctly there.
It seems to me that Bolsinger, I'd like him. I want to see some more out of Bolsinger. It seems like they're in a hurry to get rid of him sometimes.
They are, and they were in a hurry to send down Stripling, and I never thought Stripling was that bad. So,
what's up, sweetheart? Is that the graduate? Oh, Erin Marie Martin coming in. Hello, this is the graduate, Joshua.
Oh, congratulations,
Can you close the door, sweetheart?
Sure.
Thank you. We're just making it work out of my sister's basement here this week. Pressed into action because Bobby D left us hanging. All right. Hopefully, how was everybody safe at the party?
Yep.
Did you have a good day today? Did you enjoy yourself?
I had a wonderful day. I
Oh,
really did enjoy
that's
myself.
good. right? Just a chip off the old block.
Yep.
You know, long hair and a red Irish nose. You know, that's it. Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was fun.
All right, that's cool. Do you know anything about the Dodgers?
Hey, Benny the Jet Rodriguez.
Oh, it's true.
Right. All right, that's dead air. Benny the Jet. We'll come back to you.
What about Smalls? He announces for them.
Go ahead, Josh. What did you have? Sorry.
Oh no, we got Bolsinger, Urias, and Maeda going against the Rockies. You're gonna see Kershaw, Cueto Friday night in San Francisco. I think that's going to be Cueto's been really strong this year.
Cueto has been strong. He's really loved his return back to the National League, and that should be a great pitching matchup.
And interesting side note: it's a Giants news, but Bumgarner wants in the home run derby.
Oh my word! Let him in. That can be only good for Dodgers fans. You know, there's more chance of him fouling something up if he's in that contest than as if he isn't. You know.
Oh, I agree.
Man.
I want him in it all day long. Let him screw with his swing.
Right? Screw with his swing, or like, you know, no, God forbid you don't wish anybody ill will, but you know, maybe it. You know, I don't know. That can't be the manager. Coachy can't allow that to happen.
Oh, I'm sure he wouldn't. But you said something interesting about Bolsinger, that it looks like they're trying to kind of get rid of him. That they're almost trying to. I don't know if they're trying to force him into the pen, if they're trying to maybe see if they can get something for him. But I think you're right. It sounds like they're almost trying to kind of throw him out there basically as a trade bait. It looks like to me. I
just don't know. I mean, Joshua, what do you think his value is right now? I mean, we haven't seen him much on the major league level to this point. I like what I've seen out of him last year in the small sample size kind of we had, but you know, we got if I'm a opposing GM, I got to see something a little bit more current out of Bolsinger before I really give anything up for him.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just it's interesting because I agree with you. I don't know what the Dodgers are doing with him. You know, I actually, you know, I mean, they brought up Urias. Stripling's still hanging out there, right? Stripling's in AAA. You know, you got Stripling there. You got Montes there. You got De Leon there. You know, you bring up Urias. You got Bolsinger. I mean, I know they're trying to fill holes because Wood's more hurt than they thought. Wood looks like he'll be out at least a month now.
Okay.
So that hurts because Wood was pitching solid, you know, until he got hurt.
Yep.
So, you know, right now you're leaning on Kershaw, Kazmir, and Maeda, and you're just hoping your 4 or 5 guys kind of show you something. But Bolsinger hasn't had a bad outing.
Who hasn't?
Bolsinger. I don't think he's had a bad outing. I mean, he's 1-2, but I don't think he hasn't been hammered like in any start.
No, to this point, I think he deserves to be in there until he gets blown up, you know. He hasn't shown me anything that says that he doesn't deserve this opportunity. And I really think some of the post-game interviews I've seen with him, he's a guy that I really like his competitive spirit. He's got some fire in him. So I think guys like that really are kind of better than the sum of their parts. And I think Bolsinger could be a guy like that. And when you're looking at, you know, the beginning of the season when we looked at the Dodgers and there was all those like kind of, you know, retread veterans like the who knew if Ryu was coming back after that long an absence, and like you know, Brett Anderson and McCarthy and guys like this. All right, well, and we knew in the back of their head that maybe these guys won't be coming back, and so young guys like, you know, Bolsinger and Stripling and maybe this Montas kid are the guys we're going to have to lean on, and there's going to be a tremendous opportunity for these kids to come up and you know, show what they got.
Yeah, and you know, look at the youth movement right now. You got Trace looking solid. You got Jacques is still hot and cold, but you know, with Seager and Trace kind of really killing the ball right now. You know, you're looking younger. I mean, the Dodger that really needs to get on track with his bat is Justin Turner. Justin Turner really needs to get on track because he was a big part of their offense last year, and right now, I mean, he is really struggling. I don't know if he still has knee issues from the bum knee, but he is a Dodger who has to get on track. You know,
Yeah.
we were worried about Gonzo there for a little bit, but he Agon came back nice and strong. He looks okay now. Now it's Turner. Turner kind of needs to Turner and to a lesser extent Kendrick. Both of them.
Yeah,
you like to
and
see...
I think you talked about Kendrick maybe getting some at bats in left field earlier.
Yeah,
and I think he could maybe be in the mix at third base as well.
Yeah, just until one of those guys definitely has to get going. One of them does.
I think with the way things shakes out right now, you're looking at like three guys for two positions between Turner, Kike, and Kendrick between that left field third base mix.
Yeah, and it's just if someone gets hot, I think you're just gonna have to ride the hot bat for a while.
Absolutely.
If one of those...
And you hope that's Turner.
Yeah, because I like Turner a lot. For a guy who they originally brought in as a utility player, he's been really good for the Dodgers.
He's been a great acquisition for the Dodgers.
Yeah.
He was really kind of a buy low guy that they got from the Mets, and he's really been an incredible find for them. And even though we talk about here the Dodgers Weekly, it's no secret that I'm a Red Sox fan, and the Red Sox were in on the Justin Turner sweepstakes as well and lost out to the Dodgers on that one. So that's a bitter pill.
Well,
but
he's from Long Beach. That's probably why he lost out.
LBC,
But I really would like to
play
see...
baseball in the summer here in Boston. It's gorgeous.
I would like to see him get on track because he's a bat they're going to need, especially if they're going to make a run. If they are going to make a run into the playoffs, he's a bat they need. Now, something I've heard...
He was great in the playoffs last year.
He was.
Probably our most consistent hitter.
And this is something that's been floating out there a little bit, is Ryan Braun potentially coming to the Dodgers. Now, he's still owed, I believe, $95 million over what, 4 years? I think it's still owed. But isn't he second in the National League in hitting right now?
That's a huge bat coming over.
Yeah. Now, is it worth it to bring Braun over? That's the question.
To me, I'm a little scared, because of the whole thing coming out. I mean, if they start coming out with a rule where your contract can be voided if you end up getting PEDs because he's got that history, I don't think it's a gamble you can take until that's passed. Then you can get the guy's production. If he is suspended, you can get out of the money. But if you're on the hook for that tab and this guy can't be mashing for you in your lineup on a daily basis, it's not a risk I think I'd be willing to take.
What would it take to get him? What the Dodgers would have to give us someone. Who would they have to give up, do you think, to get Braun?
Oof.
Because now you've cut Crawford, so you don't have to worry about taking that money back because you're going to pay him out.
Yeah.
So, would potentially Ethier, would they take someone like Ethier? But he's on the DL, so, would you make him take that and throw in... I don't think they would give up a De Leon, but they might be willing to give up a Montez or a Cotton for him.
I think you're going to probably have to lose 2 out of the 3 of those 3 between Montez, Cotton, and who else you said?
Montez, Cotton,
and De Leon.
Yeah,
you probably have to give 2 or 3 out of those, 2 or 3 of those, and
make them take.
I don't think Ethier they want any part of him.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just I've heard it floated around out there a little bit, in the rumor mill that one, that Braun is, the Brewers are looking to move him, number one.
Yeah.
And that 2,
Well, in a Braun deal, it might be a case where it's just to make the money work. Because, what is Ethier making,
He's still owed about 30, maybe? I don't think he's owed quite as much as Crawford. I think he's owed about $30 million, roughly, for another 2 years. He's still on the hook for 2 years. So, yeah, to make the money work, you'd have to do that. But I agree with you. You'd probably have to give up 2 of those guys. Because I don't think they'd give up Grant Holmes or anyone like that in single A right now. I don't think they'd be willing to part with one of those guys. I think
Bonds could be a piece in a trade.
Yeah, if maybe they brought up Barnes to show what he can do.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Because a lot of what it's a fire sale in Milwaukee, and the guy they really looks like is also going to be traded besides Braun is Jonathan Lucroy, and so that could be an opening there for a catcher. So Bonds could be a guy they're even seeking, or maybe they could take Grandal off our hands.
Come on, the guy. He let David Ross steal a base. I still can't get over that. It's one of those things where I believe AJ Ellis could have been on his knees and thrown the guy out. You know, Ellis is great at throwing out base runners. He's what was he, top 3 last year, I believe, in the National League and throwing guys out.
That's impressive.
You know, I would like to see, if Grandal's not giving you the bat, I would rather see Barnes or Ellis in the game.
No question.
You know,
and you know, D. Ross, I mean, props to him. I love him showing the wheels out there. And also props on getting his 100th career home run a few weeks ago. I mean, that guy, I mean, I'll always love that guy.
Funny enough, not the oldest catcher to steal a base. Rick Dempsey at 41 stole a base.
Oh, 88 Dodgers? Or
I don't know if it was, I think where'd he go? Didn't he go somewhere after the Dodgers?
Oh, I can't imagine. He was really old with that 88 team.
Yeah, I know. He was old with that team. Because he was already.
Didn't they let him wear a windbreaker on the bases?
I think they did. He was already the backup to Sosha. I mean, he was already a backup at that point, too.
That's a pull by me. That's a pull.
I remember that 88 team well. I do believe you're right. I think they let him wear the windbreaker.
Wow, I didn't know. That was straight out of you-know-where, Josh. I just, that came in like a vision. I heard Vin Scully and Joe Garagiola talking, and then I saw Rick Dempsey in a windbreaker on first.
Vin Scully gave a nice little speech about Muhammad Ali.
Oh, nice! I missed that.
If you can, people look that up on YouTube, on Google. Look it up. It's a nice little, a nice little thing to say about Muhammad Ali.
Oh man,
So,
R.I.P. to the greatest.
So that was, it was a nice little tribute, and it's Vin Scully. So if you have, please Google him reading the grocery list.
That is awesome. And we're
is.
going to come into some shows with that, I think, going forward.
So,
I love that.
But yeah, I heard. Now here's an interesting question that was brought up to me by a friend of mine, and I had to ponder it for a while. It was, are the Dodgers playing to win this year?
That's a great question. And, I mean, it didn't seem like they were playing to win last year because they hung on to Seager and Urias. It gave you the indication that they weren't doing that, but that's obviously, as we talked earlier in the program, we both believe has been a good move to show patience in that regard. But, it's like, I think some of the guys that are on their current roster just have to play better. So you just don't have to make any, I don't want to call it knee-jerk because it's a long season. There's nothing really knee-jerk, but moves at the deadline that you're going to regret.
Yeah, because you would think that if you really were going for it, then the Ryan Braun move would make a lot of sense. If you were really going, we want to win full out this year, let's get that bat in there because he's consistent and we don't have any consistent bats in our lineup.
Okay, well, tell me this. Say we trade for Ryan Braun. Trace Thompson's probably in that deal because where else would he play?
Or would Puig be in that deal?
Or would Puig be in that deal?
That's the question. It's an interesting. Well, this was also before they designated Guerrero and Crawford.
Right.
That's a lot of money too. It's got to be at least $40 million, maybe more, probably closer to 50 that you're just writing a check for. Because who's going to take those guys in a trade? Guerrero, he was supposed to have a good bat, but what was he hitting 180 in the minors this year?
Yeah. The Dodgers are printing money. It's nothing to them. I mean, what's Guerrero's $20 million over 2 years? You know?
Something.
It's like that's really kind of nothing these days. Like every schmo down the street's making $10 million a year, and it's like, the Crawford money's a lot, but you just have to take solace in the fact you're like 2 years away from being out from under that. So when you talk about like, are they playing for now? I really think they should probably, and I hate to say it, maybe like Dodgers fans don't want to hear it, but maybe they should be playing for 2 years from now when those guys come off the books, and maybe our young talent shows a little bit of whiz. Maybe if Frankie Montas shows that he's a major league piece, and perhaps De Leon in that period of time, before you maybe trade him, for the next.
Yeah, because they're always going to be competitive, but being competitive and playing to win are two different things. So that's why it was a question, that it was kind of kicking around this week. And then when they cut Crawford and they cut, well, not cut, but designated, whatever. We all know that that's basically cutting them. So, when they designated Guerrero and Crawford, I was kind of like, well, that was interesting. That shows to me that they want to win. And then I looked at the other side of that coin going, or they just want to show off guys who are playing right now.
Right.
To maybe try to get something for them. It's with Friedman up there, you don't know what's what. It's hard to say what's what with him because you don't know. They value the young talent so much. So,
it's really kind of a similar thing that's actually going on with the Red Sox right now, where you've had a recent regime change. So these guys that are coming up to the major league level, they're either A, like you say, being showcased for trade bait, or really just kind of seeing what you got, and seeing if this is a guy that can help you and if he's going to be in your plans moving forward. But when you have a new regime coming in, they're gonna shake it up, and they're gonna not worry about pulling the trigger on trades for guys they didn't bring in themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So it's curious to see. I'm curious to see how the season plays out. If I wasn't expecting them to make the playoffs, remember I said they'd probably get about 85 wins this year, which I don't think will get you in the playoffs this year. Right. Especially not the wild card, not the way the Cubs and the Pirates, the Washington and the Mets, So, but I do think with this young group of guys, getting over 500 is big. Which means that some of them are coming around, like Seager is now. I mean, you still want to get Peterson on track.
Yeah.
He's still a little hot and cold. And to tell you the truth, with the way Trace is playing, although Peterson had a nice play today in center field, but
yeah,
I might dangle Peterson out there and see if someone wants to take him, just to see. He's still young. He's only 23, but just to see what kind of, maybe someone bites. Who knows?
He's definitely not untouchable, and it seems like he had more shine on him when he was that prospect in AAA. And, he came up and hit a lot of home runs last year, but, he's come back to earth a little bit. And, if we got the right things back, yeah,
exactly.
I wouldn't be sad to see him go.
No, especially now when you have a capable center fielder in Trace Thompson.
Yeah, I think he can play center.
Because I actually think the upper management is really liking Trace. I mean, they did make that. I mean, it looked like they just facilitated that move for Frazier, for Todd Frazier at the beginning. But I mean, they sought out Thompson and sought out Montes. So it's curious to see what winds up happening.
Well, and like we're saying, it's like with the regime change, these are, recent moves that were done by this new regime. So I really think these guys are going to have the leg up, the Thompsons and the Montazes, as far as getting an opportunity to move forward. Because, hey, it's like we brought these guys in. Yeah. Look at what they're doing for our ball club,
And talk about, I love talking about Trace Thompson because he wasn't even going to be on the roster until guys got hurt.
Right.
And now he's earned his spot. Now he's playing every day. I mean, I love those stories. I love when that happens to guys, when they just work hard, they earn that spot, and now they're everyday players.
I really think it has a lot to do with, he kind of almost comes in under the radar a little bit. He had a little cup of coffee with the White Sox last year. Didn't come up to much fanfare, and that's something that Puig didn't have. It's like the fanfare's there right off the bat because he's a Cuban, and he's built like he is and runs like the wind, and it's like, wow, and he got off to that terrific start. So it's almost like the expectations for him are just unattainable. And you look at a guy like Trace that has potentially as much talent. And is just being able to kind of find his own way. I really think it's kind of underestimated how important that is to a young player to be able to just kind of grow it on his own steam. Oh
yeah, I agree, and I agreed with when you look at Puig's background and how he even got here, it's a little unfair that the expectations we put on him. He was not going to be as good as he was when he came up.
Right.
Oh, all right. That's about all the time we have, Mike. I will say goodbye to you.
Okay. All right. We're going to see you next week, Joshua, right?
Yes,
I'll be on here, or, we'll do the Skype thing again. We'll definitely be talking Dodgers baseball next week at 9 p.m. West Coast time, and go Dodgers.
All right. Have fun over there while you're back home.
I appreciate it, Joshua. Thank you very much.
All right, Dodger fans, that's a wrap. We'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.